Hi, lovelies. There was a woman who came into the branch on a Wednesday afternoon. Nothing unusual, just wanted to check her account. We sat down, pulled up her statements, and as we scrolled through 3 months of transactions together, she went quiet. Then she leaned forward, pointed at the screen. What is that one? She didn't recognize it. Or the next one, or the one after that, subscriptions, auto renewals, payments she'd forgotten existed. She wasn't careless, she wasn't bad with money, she just hadn't looked, and the money had been leaving anyway. That stuck with me, because she wasn't the only one, not even close. UK households waste around £1.6 billion every year on subscriptions that go completely unused, and that is just one type of leak. Some of this is already happening to you. 1. The subscriptions you stopped using but kept paying for. This is the one that runs on silence. Nobody cancels. Nobody notices. The money just leaves. I used to see it constantly. We'd go through a statement together, and there'd be 3 or 4 charges the person couldn't even name, and every time they'd say the same thing. I meant to cancel that. It wasn't just one person. Half of UK adults are still paying for at least one subscription they don't use. Half, and most of them aren't large amounts. That is the problem. £10 here, £8 there, £5 for something signed up 2 years ago and never opened since. They sit on your statement between the grocery shop and the electricity bill. They look like they belong, so nobody questions them, because these payments are designed to be invisible. Free trials that roll over, auto renewals buried in terms and conditions, cancellation processes that take longer than signing up. None of that is your fault. The system is built to make leaving harder than joining. Added up over a year, the average person loses around £168 on subscriptions they never touch. That is not spare change. That is a winter energy bill sitting in someone else's account. Set aside 30 minutes this week. Go through your statement line by line. If you haven't used it in the last month, cancel it. Most people never miss it. 2. The tap that doesn't feel like spending. This one changed when contactless came in. I noticed it behind the counter. Before contactless, people withdrew cash at the start of the week. You could see it leave, feel it in your hand, and when it was gone, it was gone. Now spending doesn't feel like spending anymore. A £3.5 tap here, a £6 tap there. A meal deal, a top-up shop, a quick grab on the way home, each one painless, each one invisible, but at the end of the month, those taps add up to hundreds. Sometimes more than everything else combined. I am not saying stop using contactless. It is convenient. It is fast. But convenience has a cost when it removes the friction that used to make you pause. And that is not a personal failing. The easier spending feels, the more of it happens. Try this for 1 month. Work out your weekly budget for small spending. Then withdraw that amount as cash on Monday. When it is gone, it is gone. You'll feel the difference immediately. 3. Paying more because you stayed. This is the one that rewards people for leaving and charges them for staying. I noticed it most in the autumn. That is when renewals tend to land. Same provider, same cover, same direct debit going out. But the amount had crept up, quietly, no letter, no explanation. Just a higher number sitting there each year. And because the payment looked familiar, nobody questioned it. I'd sit with customers and go through their bills, insurance, broadband, a phone contract. More often than not, they were paying more than a new customer would, sometimes double. In the UK, existing customers routinely pay more than new ones. Providers know most people won't switch. The effort feels bigger than the saving, so people stay, and the providers count on it. 1 round of switching, just insurance, broadband, and a phone contract, could save a household £400 to £600 a year. Loyalty is a beautiful quality in a person, but your broadband provider doesn't love you back. Pick 1 contract this week. Just 1. Check what a new customer would pay for the same thing. If the gap is more than £10 a month, switch or call and ask them to match it. 4. The minimum payment that feels like progress. This one is quiet, and it is the one most people never see coming. Someone carries a credit card balance. The statement arrives, they pay the minimum, and they believe they're handling it, responsible, on top of things, doing the right thing. But with interest rates above 30% on many UK credit cards, paying the minimum barely scratches the surface. A £3,000 balance paid at the minimum can take over 25 years to clear, 25 years, and the total interest paid can end up higher than the original debt. I sat across from people who didn't know this. Smart people, careful people, people who budgeted and thought they were doing everything right. They just hadn't seen the maths. The system doesn't make it obvious. It is not designed to check your latest statement, find the line that shows how long it would take to repay at the minimum, then add even £20 more per month. That one change can save you thousands. If any of these have felt familiar so far, you are not alone. Most households carry at least 3 at once. But here is what I noticed after years behind that counter. The ones that hurt most aren't the obvious ones. They're the ones that look completely fine, the ones still to come. Those are the ones I saw trip people up most, and almost nobody sees them coming. 5. The food shop without a plan. This one hides inside a habit that looks responsible. I saw it in statement after statement. People who thought they had one weekly shop, but their bank said something different. A couple came in worried they were overspending. Their weekly shop was £85, reasonable for two, but their bank said 12 food transactions in 7 days. By the end of the month, that £85 budget had quietly become £130 a week. The extra £45 is over £2,000 a year. They weren't being careless. They had a budget. They stuck to it on Mondays. But the top-up on Tuesday, the Thursday takeaway, the Saturday second run, those weren't part of the plan, and nobody had ever laid it all out like this. 10 minutes before your next weekly shop, write a meal plan. Then buy only what is on the list. Across a year, it is one of the biggest leaks you can plug. 6. The insurance you're paying for twice. Most people assume they know what they're covered for. They're usually wrong. This one I only started catching after a few years behind the counter. It doesn't look like a problem until you lay everything side by side. A woman came in trying to figure out why she had so little left each month. Her bills were reasonable, nothing obvious. Then we looked at her packaged bank account. £13 a month. Came with travel insurance, phone cover, and breakdown assistance. Seemed like good value until we checked what she was already paying for separately. Travel insurance through her holiday booking, phone insurance through her mobile contract, breakdown cover through her car dealer. 3 of the same cover, running at the same time. Over 2 years, she'd spent more than £900 on cover she already had. Twice over, when she saw it laid out in front of her, she went quiet. Then, I had no idea. £900 for protection she was already carrying. Most people are in the same position and don't know it. No provider is going to ring you and say you are already covered. That call is not in their interest. Write down every insurance policy you are paying for. Include the ones hiding inside your bank account and phone contract. Put them side by side. 7. The overdraft that became normal. This is the one that stops feeling like a problem until you do the maths. I remember a man who checked his balance at the counter and smiled. Still got a bit of room, he said. His balance was minus £600. He wasn't confused, he just stopped seeing it as debt. The overdraft had become where his account lived, and he was paying for it every month without realizing. And that is how it happens. Someone dips in one month, tells themselves they'll clear it, but next month brings its own costs. So it stays. And after a while, it stops feeling like borrowing, but it is. Most UK banks now charge 35 to 40% on arranged overdrafts, higher than many credit cards. A £1,000 overdraft held for a year can cost over £350 in interest alone. Manageable and free are not the same thing. Next payday, set up a standing order that moves £25 toward clearing it. Before anything else, that is how overdrafts stop being permanent. These leaks don't announce themselves. They don't show up as one big mistake on your statement. They show up as dozens of small invisible choices, repeated month after month, until one day you sit down and wonder where it all went. That woman in the branch wondered the same thing. She wasn't unusual. She was just the one who sat down and looked. Every single one of these can be fixed. Not with a spreadsheet and a sacrifice. Just a cup of tea and the decision to finally look. Because looking is where it starts. Slow down, think clearly, and that is how you start to love your money.